I'd love to actually share a story, Joey, about a company that I worked with who I was actually in charge of reviewing all of the background checks and determining whether they needed to go through the pre-adverse process, which is essentially saying, hey, there's something that's come up that may not meet our hiring requirements. So, candidate, can you look at this, verify the accuracy, and provide an explanation if it's valid of like what's going on here? And it was kind of their chance to help us understand more than what you see just on the background check. And I think where I've seen background checks come into play, like for like absolute immense value, is in regards to what's referred to as negligent hiring, and that's where a company can be held responsible and sued if they hire somebody and that individual causes some harm, and the employer should have known
Hmm.
that that risk existed. And where I've seen this actually happen is with violent individuals. So, hiring somebody that has a previous background of violent crimes and bringing harm to other individuals. I mean, that's something that you would want to know before bringing them into your office, especially if you have minors on staff.
If you have minors, if you serve minor populations, um, you definitely want to be extra careful and have some requirements in place to protect yourself. I have a story it's a background check wouldn't have necessarily stopped this, but you mentioned about violence, and I actually worked with a colleague who went on to another job. We all left that organization, but then later on, I he like committed a murder. He committed like multiple murders. It was big news in our town, and I was like, wait, that guy, the guy that I remember from that place of employment. Like I said, I don't know. That's just an aside because unfortunately, the background check couldn't have prevented that, or maybe it could have. Maybe there was something that could have been done to help to make the his new employer aware of any maybe concerns that they should have had. I couldn't speak to his criminal history, but it's always shocking, and you're always like, no way, not that person. But you just don't want to be the business that is associated with something really bad happening to people, and in many cases, background checks can help you combat that.
Yeah, and I think one of the points I'd like to mention, because I think back to one of the reasons why we have some clients who strongly oppose them is the idea of wanting to give everybody a second chance and not wanting somebody's criminal background to prevent them from, having equal opportunities. And I think there is a balance that can be found in this. It doesn't mean just because you have something on your background that you're not going to get hired. It's looking at anything that may be found on a background on a case by case basis, and then really evaluating the situation and the opportunity to determine, are we able to extend an offer, and is there risk, and if so, to what degree? Because I will say many individuals with criminal backgrounds make their way through background checks. They are stellar employees. People make mistakes. And so just to know that just because you have this background check process in place doesn't mean, that you're going to be that you're going to be prevented from hiring anybody and everybody with something on their background check.